Good morning. It's time to stop those morning routines. And what I mean by that is it's time to stop replicating someone else's morning routine if it's not working for you. We watch people on YouTube, and even though we don't have their life, we think we can replicate their morning. Why would my morning look like somebody else's if my life doesn't look like hers at all? And yet, I've tried and failed at that many, many times. And I've even gotten frustrated like, well, why does it look so easy and glamorous and healthy and productive and cozy and so aesthetic for all these other people, but I'm not sticking to it? There must be something wrong with me. Well, first of all, let's all acknowledge that most of these morning routines are not really people's every single day routine, okay? They might not do any of those things every day, or they might do some, but it's certainly not as aesthetic as when you're setting up a camera trying to make it presentable for YouTube. But beyond knowing that it's probably not all real anyway, it's also important to just recognize that there are different personality traits and types and different mindsets and maybe neurodivergence or mental health issues. Whatever it may be for you, that's just not going to allow certain things to stick in the way that you are expecting them to when it comes to forming new habits and routines. And it can be really kind of annoying to see the almost like a subliminal messaging from this kind of content, like you should be able to do this, and if you're not, you're lazy or unhealthy or whatever. And that's not the message I think that's ever intended by anybody. I think they're trying to, make a popular video or show something that might be inspirational and helpful. I've made those videos too, and I love watching these kind of videos because you can get some new ideas, but in the end for me, I've ended up feeling that way, whether that was ever an intended message or not. I took it away. I took that message out of it. My my own brain found the negative in there to say, oh, this is so frustrating. They must feel like they're better than me because they're part of the 5 a.m. club. And they don't at all, but that's what I take away from it, which is fully my responsibility. But I finally realized, okay, I need to flip this around and figure out why certain things that I want to stick are not sticking and change that. Because sometimes I also think it's like, well, I don't have habits. Like, I just get up and sit and look at YouTube every morning, and then I have breakfast, and then I go to work. And it's like, okay, well, those are all habits and routines. You didn't maybe consciously do them, but you did form them through some repetition, and now that's your brain's automated way. So why did you allow that to happen? Ask yourself that. Like, if you don't like how it feels, ask yourself how you got there. And then believe that if your brain could do it the first time, it can certainly do it again. Neuroplasticity is an amazing thing, and you do have the ability to kind of change your habits. Well, to completely change your habits. But I said kind of because, like, it needs to be done more slowly. We also expect ourselves to set our alarm for a new time Monday morning and have 5 new routines in play, and that's just not how it works. Habits work like this. Let's talk a little bit about it. I'm eating my nachos. I'm gonna plan. I bought this like a dot grid on Amazon, just super cheap. I think these used to cost $9, and now inflation they're more, but still like $11 maybe. Anyway, so I have some stuff I want to plan and some goals that I want to track and stuff for the summer. So I'm gonna, well, not even the whole summer, but for like the next 6 to 8 weeks before my schedule changes again, kind of create a routine. I am no artist, so this is not like a cute aesthetic plan with me. That's okay.
Okay, so my channel is all about, like, I have tried all of these things and failed. It's the art of failure is kind of the theme I'm going with here in my channel and my life, and what you can learn from failure and what I have learned from failure. But with that, as I'm creating content of very similar things you've seen from people, morning routines or habit tracking and bullet journaling, whatever, I am not trying to put out yet another version that you can try and emulate. This is not a copy and paste style channel at all. So I want to talk about like the principles behind it instead of telling you to just do the exact same thing that I'm doing. So for me, I am a visual person. So to hold myself accountable, I just need reminders, first of all. So I actually, the old fashioned way, I have a calendar, like a wall calendar in my bedroom where I can write stuff down and see it in the morning. I write things down, obviously, in the planners and journals, you know. Um, but if you would rather like use your cell phone and just set an alarm, I've done that before too. When I have tried to, have some habits, I'm like, okay, this is most convenient for me at 2 p.m. today. So, and like most days, it's probably going to be the best time for me to do X, Y, Z. And so I'll set an alarm on my phone for 2 p.m., repeating daily. Whatever works for you is to find a way to keep track of what you're trying to achieve and be able to hold yourself accountable. My final point of today's video is I wanted to talk a little bit about setting habits specifically in the summertime. Because if you're into the New Year's resolutions, I've started some New Year's resolutions in January. You think about your previous year, how your goals went, and then, at least for me, by before New Year's Eve, I will try and have all of my next goals for the next year mapped out. And I realized this is part of why the stats are so bad in February. It's like 90 something percent of people have fallen off the wagon of their resolutions by some point in February. And I think part of it is because it is dark, it is cold, it is depressing. It is not a time where you can like get outside. You can't get more sunlight, which automatically is a mood booster and brings more endorphins, which bring more motivation. It's a time when if you wanted to lose weight, it's harder to get yourself to go outdoors for exercise, even just to drive to a gym. It's just the time where you want to hibernate and hunker down, and it's dark and depressing. And if you have seasonal affective disorder, then really just like forget about it. So I have decided from now on, I'm kind of doing a New Year's resolution in mid-year. I'm going to call it a mid-year's resolution. It is far more likely to have the time, energy, and motivation at a time of the year where there are fun things going on, the sunshine is out, I'm getting my natural vitamin D, and I don't automatically feel like I just want to stay home under a blanket all the time. It's okay to think way outside of the box and do whatever works for you with setting habits, setting goals and intentions, whatever you want to do. Find a way that works for your personality, for your schedule, whatever you need to do. It can be really helpful to watch all these influencers' videos of morning routines and like New Year's resolution ideas, different people with different ideas, read all the self-help books, but then to sit down and ask yourself, okay, why hasn't some of this worked for me before? Because if you're me, I have tried and failed at copying everybody else's thing because I will get inspired and I'm like, yes, I want that. I want my life to look like that, or I want that result. Or it's just like genuinely I have that desire to do what you're doing, but it's not fitting into my life right now, or the way that they're going about it does not fit my personality. And so I fail over and over again. And I've just realized I just need to take some inspo, and then I just need to think outside the box. And it's okay to have trial and error. The time is going to go by anyway. So I just encourage you to, whether you want to start your New Year's resolutions all over with me in June, or if you want to just continue as you were, if you're going to set new habits and new routines that you think about honestly, what works for you, what can you do to push yourself a little bit, but not so far that it ends up being completely impossible and you just feel like you have failed again. I know you can do it. If I can do these things when I have failed every year, 4 years, there's been a lot of years that I have tried and failed at a lot of different habits and routines, and I'm finally seeing some success and some things sticking because I'm finally evaluating myself, my own personality, how my brain works, and working with it instead of against it. So you can do it, and I will see you very soon with a very fun, this is going to be fun. We're still going to talk about my topic. We're still going to talk about achieving things when we failed a lot, but in a very fun Summerween video. I'm celebrating Summerween this year.